Answer, not that I recall. Question, did anyone ever tell you Mr. Stern had sexually abused a child? Answer, not that I recall. You remember those answers?
Yes, I do.
What have you done to insulate Tuesday from the impact of this lawsuit?
All I can say now is that we're very hopeful. And if there comes a time there's going to be trouble, we'll have to worry about that when we get there.
Did you authorize your attorney to request that Tuesday be allowed to testify?
That was on her decision. She wanted to talk to the judge.
Mrs. Whitehead, please answer my question. How old is Tuesday?
11 years old, Lorraine.
Do you acknowledge that you bear responsibility for her safety, her happiness, and her welfare?
That's correct.
Tuesday has her own room at home, does she not?
Yes.
How large is the room?
I'm not sure. 10 by 10.
What furniture is in there?
Double bed, dresser, desk.
What else is in the room?
Sarah's crib.
How long has the crib been in there?
Since we came home in August.
Did the baby ever sleep in that crib in Tuesday's room in Bricktown?
No.
Did you ever discuss with anyone what the impact would be on Tuesday of having that empty crib sitting in her room since August?
We were hoping to get it filled.
Please answer my question.
Listen to the question.
Did you ever discuss that with anyone?
Yes, with Tuesday.
With Tuesday?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitehead, what would you do to protect the baby from the publicity and notoriety that has happened as a result of this trial?
Everything I can do.
And what is that?
I'll have to cross that bridge when I get to it, Lorraine. I'm sorry. I wish I could look into the future. I can't.
Why do you think that you should have custody of the baby?
Because I'm the mother. A child belongs with her mother. I feel she has to know Bill and Betsy, sure, but she also has to know about me. You know, you can wish me away as much as you want, but I'm here, and I'm the mother. And I think to lie to that child about my not being her mother, I think she wants me to be her mother. I have no doubt about that. I'll never find another girl like you. For happy endings it takes two. With fire and ice, a dream will come true. Sarah, Sarah.
Mrs. Whitehead has an immature personality structure. She has a real problem separating her own needs from those of her baby. She has an enmeshed, overly involved relationship with all her children. Her husband calls them her Ken and Barbie dolls. I recommend custody to the Sterns and no visitation at this time.
Mrs. Whitehead has raised 2 children successfully during her teen years and times of financial stress. She has demonstrated great concern for them and has an affectionate and warm relationship with both of them. I recommend joint custody. The Sterns are more intellectually gifted, better educated, and financially secure. The Whiteheads have an extended family, a brother and a sister, a loving stepfather. She would have the best of both worlds.
Based on my interviews and house visits, I have determined that Mrs. Whitehead has a mixed personality disorder. There's a need for exhibitionism and constant attention. I recommend custody to the Sterns and a termination of Mrs. Whitehead's parental rights.
To diagnose a personality disorder, one must show that it has existed over a period of time. This just isn't so for Mrs. Whitehead. Everything can be attributed to the present crisis.
Mrs. Whitehead was grieving, bereft, pushed to the wall. Her coping mechanisms were taxed. In violating the court order, Mary Beth answered to a morality of relationships and of caring. rather than a morality of law.
I'm in no way implying that she's an unfit mother per se. But I believe she could be an unfit mother for this child. I think she's become so over-identified with this baby that she would thwart attempts on the part of the child to develop a sense of herself as separate and unique. As far as joint custody or visitation is concerned, these people can't agree to give this baby the one thing that everybody in this courtroom has: a name.
Motherhood is devalued by this trial.
Yes.
Mary Beth Whitehead has been made a humiliating beggar by Judge Sokol.
What sort of person takes a child from its mother and doesn't let her see it? The trial is a travesty!
Everybody's talking about mother's rights. Mother's rights. Well, what about father's rights? I'm her father. Fathers have dreams, too.
Give the baby back! Give the baby back! Give the baby back!
Mr. Cassidy, your summation, please.
On March 27th, in what was a flush of ecstasy, Mary Beth Whitehead gave birth to a new human being and immediately knew that she could not deny what she was, the mother of that baby. She knew and felt a bond with her child stronger than any sense of obligation she had with Phil Stern. Mr. Stern is asking the court to terminate her rights as a mother because he wished to circumvent adoption laws and satisfy his own needs without regard for the harm that would be done to the baby, to Mrs. Whitehead, and to her family. Such a request, if granted, would morally bankrupt the people of this state. The Sterns didn't inconvenience themselves to have their own child because they were busy pursuing their careers. Infertility was a lie. Inconvenience was the truth. They again didn't inconvenience themselves to investigate adoption procedures designed to protect children and mothers from exploitation. Instead, they shifted all the inconvenience to Mary Beth Whitehead. I tell this court there is nothing more fundamentally repugnant than permitting a man to have one woman to share his life and another to experience the sacrifice and pain of pregnancy and a lifetime of suffering as a result of separation from her child. It will always be the wife of the sanitation worker who will bear the children for the pediatrician.
You need only compare the testimony of the Sterns to that of Mary Beth Whitehead. When the Sterns testified, it was pure honesty, total credibility. There was no exaggeration, no contradictions. When Mary Beth Whitehead testified, there was an absence of any veracity, of any credibility. Her lack of candor ranged from evasiveness to selective memory to blatant lies told under oath. The bottom line is very simple. You can't believe anything the Whiteheads tell you. They lie. Your Honor, there is no precedent for a surrogate parenting case, but if ever there was a case where the court must fashion a remedy to save a child, this is it. If ever there was a case where the judge could terminate parental rights without a finding of neglect or unfitness, this is it. Your Honor, the child needs stability and peace. Awarding custody to the Sterns, coupled with the termination of Mary Beth Whitehead's parental rights, affords this child her only chance of achieving that stability and peace. Only in this way can she be nurtured in a loving environment, free of chaos, sheltered from the public eye. Melissa deserves no less.
Thank you, Mr. Skoloff. Mrs. Abraham, your summation, please.
The defendant's counsel would have us believe that Mary Beth Whitehead's only fault is that she loved too much. I have no doubt that she loved the baby.